Keep doing these things even after you get out of debt. If you view your personal finances the same way that a business views theirs, you will recognize that you are the CEO of your personal finance. In my 40 plus years of running highly successful businesses, I have learned that the number one key to success is positive cash flow. I've gathered my top 5 hacks to getting out of debt and staying out of debt. We're gonna start with the most important hack of all, and that is to recognize the importance of cash flow. Simply stated, cash flow is money coming in minus money going out. If green is greater than red at the end of a month, you have positive cash flow. Take a look at your bank statement. Measure this on a daily or monthly basis. Every day that you control your money means more positive cash flow. So you're going to discover strategies that allow you to more quickly bring money in and delay money that goes out. Whether getting paid more quickly, whether earning interest, whether getting paid twice a month versus one, anything you can control that brings money in faster is a win. Anything you can do to make cash flow go out later is a win. When you use a debit card at any time that money comes out of your bank account that instant, you are not using the timing of money to your advantage. On the other hand, if you use a credit card, it only affects your cash flow when you pay that credit card charge. Most homeowners have principal, interest, taxes, insurance. Escrow is where they hold your taxes and your casualty insurance for you, which means they've taken money in advance of it being used. In your mortgage payment, principal and interest, that you owe the bank, that doesn't change. Taxes, though, if you pay them on your own, you only pay them once a year. You have the use of that money all year long. And why do you do that? Because every day that you put money in the bank, you are earning interest. And every day that you put that money towards debt, you are saving interest. You want to save your money for maximum cash flow, and anywhere where somebody is holding your money for you, you want to take control and do with your money what you need it to do, not what they want it to do. Hack number 2, your identity lifestyle. You need to prioritize the things that are important to you. First of all, you need to figure out what you can cut, what you can reduce, and what you can share. What you can cut are things like expensive dinners out, streaming services, any expense that you can live without. Now, what you can reduce are things that you must have. However, you can spend less. An easy example is utilities. If your electric bill goes from $100 to $50, that's $50 in your pocket. Easy example. And then there's things you can share, like rent or sharing a car, any of those things. This is easier said than done, but I'm going to show you how. The good news is there's a couple tricks you can use. The first one is a mindset. You must think of yourself as the CEO of your life and your business. You are not trying to emulate somebody else's preferences, styles, or expertise. You are your own CEO. You set the rules, you set the goals, and you make them happen. Second, journal your habits. Write them down. Whatever is measured and tracked is improved. Make an effort, as we said earlier, to cut, reduce, or share any of your expenses. And there is no day that this does not matter, because you are forming a new habit, and whether you have a good day or a bad day, a setback or move forward, you must journal at least every day. And finally, we all know the importance of a support system. If you're trying to get in shape, you might use a personal trainer. If you are trying to get control of this, you want someone who supports you. You need a support system. Husband, wife, parent, brother, sister, friend. The thing to remember is, like any habit you're trying to change or any skill you're trying to learn, do not count on the person who's drawing you into these habits to help you. You want to find somebody like-minded that you are supporting each other. So if it's a person who keeps grabbing you every Friday and asking you to go to Outback for dinner and some drinks, that's not your support system. You want somebody who is equally committed to your joint success. Bottom line is that knowing that somebody else essentially cares, that somebody else is supervising and supporting you, gives you the mindset to stick with it, whether you have setbacks or not. The third hack for the next layer of debt is counterintuitive. It's debt consolidation, which simply means taking existing debt and put it into a different kind of debt. And by debt, I mean consumer credit cards, is the easiest example. You have credit cards, and there are several of them, and you are probably paying very high interest, and I'm actually encouraging you to take all of them and get yet another credit card. And the reason you do that is because there are promotions in place where you can literally get rid of all interest and fees for 12 to 24 months. And the reason that's so relevant is math. Right now, if you have $10,000 in combined different cards all over the place, and you're paying 29% interest, which is legal and common, you're now paying $2,900 every year for the privilege of having that debt out there. So now, instead, you are going to take all of that debt, boom. You are going to create an account with another bank or lending institution, boom. You're going to take those debts and transfer them, and now those cards will have no balance. The next year or two, you have no interest, none. And you've done it with paying a fee that may be 3 to 5% upfront. This next one is for those that are highly motivated to make a change, and I need you to open your mind because this is something very hard to accept right away. So I'm going to give you some backdrop. Before the sharing economy and Uber and Lyft, everybody had to have a car. You had to have a car. It gave you freedom, gave you power, gave you flexibility. Now you need to consider how expensive each mile is to own a car. Cars cost 50 to 80 cents a mile. So we're talking about the total cost of ownership. We're talking about the car payment, the principal, the interest, the insurance, the gas, the alternator, the maintenance, the tires, everything you can think of. When you add all that up, the worst part may be it comes up, it feels like at the worst possible minute, as opposed to simply clicking an app and getting a Uber or a Lyft, any of those things. A couple things to keep in mind. One, if you choose to keep a car, maybe it makes sense to share that car with somebody. You may not need it full time. Second, if you have two cars, yes, it feels difficult to think about only having one, but we are talking about you being very motivated for substantial change. And the only way to do that is to look at your top expenses, which tend to be the things you think you need the most. Did you know you can rent cars, not through a traditional rental agency, but personal cars? There's things called Turo and things like that, but it's the sharing economy. You will be stunned at how much money you are spending on your car at the worst possible time with very little return on investment. Forget the fact that you already have a principal and interest payment. You have money tied up in that car. If you are underwater, and underwater means in anything where the asset is worth less than the loan, this will not work for you. But if you have equity in that car, if the car is worth $10,000 and you owe $5,000, you have $5,000 sitting there doing nothing. You could take that $5,000 as an example. You could pay down debt, which saves you extraordinary interest, something we talked earlier, or you could put it in savings, which we talked about in terms of controlling your money. That asset sitting there only for the convenience of getting you from one place to another, something you could do many other ways, is costing you a fortune. If you are motivated to make substantial change, you must be motivated to change the thinking substantially. The answer is not to hang on to that. It may not be to give it up forever, but it might be that you just take a reset, a reprieve, a little time to sell it, put that money in the bank, see how you can accommodate your lifestyle with that, and then start fresh. If you need to get a different car because of lifestyle changes, then you get a less expensive car, one that you can actually afford using the savings that you did by selling your current car. If you do these things now, the whole point is you'll be able to afford that car forever. All right, homeowners, when we typically think of insurance, we think of something to protect us. You are paying for something called PMI, private mortgage insurance, which is being used to protect the bank. And it is not something you had a choice to do, but it may be something that you have a choice to get rid of. So first of all, PMI is inescapable for the first 24 months. It's a requirement of the loan. But to get out of it, I'm now going to introduce loan to value ratio, which very simply is what is the house worth and how much do you owe. In an easy example, the house is worth $100,000 and the mortgage is $50,000, you have 50% LTV. The bank requires that you have a maximum LTV of between 78 and 80%. So for you to quit paying for insurance for them, you have to prove that you have a better than 80% LTV. You have to be careful because you are going to come out of pocket to get this process started. They're going to require an appraisal, and they're going to require potentially fees. When the appraiser visits your home and does the appraisal, if that appraisal comes back and doesn't justify the removing the PMI, you have just spent that money with no return. So only do it when you're confident you'll have an 80% loan-to-value ratio on the appraisal. The purpose of all of this is to address cash flow and either take you from negative to positive or from positive to very positive, because you are the CEO of your life and you will be the CEO of your business. I appreciate you watching, and most importantly, I hope you use this to kickstart your success story. I'm Howard Udell, a lifelong entrepreneur who had one of the fastest growing technology companies in America and sold it to Blackboard at a time when I could retire at 49 years old. I want to share this guidance and this sort of success with you. I am pleased to announce the upcoming course that allows you to do just that. If you have been hesitant to scale the business, you are not alone. People tend to oversimplify the difficulty of being in business, being successful in business, and growing a business to its first hire and beyond. I'm going to show you step by step how to organize your business, how to measure your business, how to make your business cash flow to justify and determine who your first hire should be and when. Please check out the description below for more details. I hope to see you there.